Well, welcome to the Business Spotlight series. My name is Tanner O'Brien. I'm a senior partner here at Action Coach in Central Texas. And today I'm sitting down with Mauro Amador, who is the owner of BusinessWise Solutions. So excited to be chatting, having some conversation here about entrepreneurship in general, about business, about your business specifically. So, Mauro, thank you so much for being here. Let's just start with a little bit of background. Give the audience kind of the, I don't know, 10,000 foot view of who you are and tell us about what is BusinessWise Solutions.
Well, thanks, Tanner, for giving me the opportunity to be here and chat with you and reach out to your audience. But my background, so it started back when I was growing up. I grew up in this household where my dad was a regional manager for over 120 employees he had under his management. And my mother had a master's degree in accounting and she was the main chief auditor for the equivalent of what the IRS here in the United States is. So back in my country, you can imagine that the conversations at home was centered around business and accounting numbers. So that's how I started. I got a I got a degree, or I graduated from high school with a certificate in bookkeeping. I came to the United States back in '83, and I got my degree in a bachelor's degree in computer information systems with a minor in business. Throughout the years, I became a life insurance agent, and my focus was on tax-free retirement strategies. And currently, I'm trying to get certified to become an enrolled agent so I can represent the taxpayers in front of the IRS. So that's in a nutshell where I came from and what I'm doing right now.
I love it. There's so much that we could potentially unpack with that. But let's just start with a little bit of the business. You mentioned having a few different, um, I want to say like service lines kind of within kind of the business wise solutions.
Yep.
For the vast majority of the clients that you work with today, kind of what are the key areas that you work with them on the most?
So we focus the business around the tax preparation, for individuals and businesses. And from that, it branches out into opportunities to serve clients on tax resolution. And from the life insurance, we looked at tax-free retirement strategies. So how to invest the money into, making sure that they have a life insurance, for example, but also focus on cash accumulations.
Beautiful. It's very clear. That's awesome. Um, so let's talk, a little bit deeper about your role within the business. I always like to ask the question of like, which hats do you wear in the business, or how many different roles do you currently have? You and I have known each other at least a couple years now, and
Right.
I've had the opportunity to kind of chat about business and everything. But where are you today? What roles do you play within your business most of the time?
So ever since I started the business, and we're talking back in 2009, I've always wear all the hats. I know that, like you said, I mean, knowing each other for the past 2 years, that's good and bad. But I've always been hands-on. I think that's probably a good thing. So you get to know your own business. You try to fine tune your business, but eventually, I think you want to move on and build that structure with staff to do and run the business for you. So I'm still currently working in the business. As you can see, this recording is happening right now and during the tax season. So I'm putting between 10 and 12 hours Monday through Saturday. I want to believe that I don't work on Sundays. Uh, so, but my goal when I grow up, like everybody says, right? I would like to work more on the business, to work less hours, If I could have a normal day, 8 hours, I would be happy.
I love that. So when you look at some of the wearing all the hats, knowing that that ranges from sales to marketing to doing of the business to hiring people to everything under the sun.
Right.
Um, when you look at kind of all those different roles that you play at varying degrees throughout the month or the year, do you have any that kind of stand out to you that on one end of the spectrum is you absolutely love, and if you could do that forever and not give it to anyone else, like that's the thing? And on the other side of the spectrum, like what's the number one or two thing on your list? You're like, as soon as I can give this to somebody else, these are the first ones to go.
Okay. Oh, I definitely love the numbers. I enjoy, I mean, I feel a lot of satisfaction, getting down in the trenches. I will probably definitely will give away the data entry, right? I mean, not that I want to say anybody could do it, but it's something that I don't mind giving that away. But I do love looking at the situation, look at the clients, look at how can I help them, save money. If we can reduce that tax burden or increase the tax refund. I mean, those are the things. It's more like a looking down the road. So I definitely love that. The other side of the business also that I enjoy is, building relationships with
Mm.
clients, going outside. I think I always felt that I'm more valuable outside these walls than inside. So building relationships with clients, it's something that I enjoyed, even though, I feel that I'm introverted, but I don't know. I mean, this business has made me extroverted.
It's amazing how being in business can challenge those beliefs on introverted versus extroverted, and sometimes regardless of natural tendencies there's the ability to kind of shift and flow between the two ends of the spectrum. But speaking of clients, when you look at your business today, I always like to ask a question, who primarily does your business serve? Or how I like to frame it for kind of this conversation is if I'm in the audience and I'm watching this later
Right.
on, how do I know that I'd be a really good fit to come work with you? Or I might know somebody who I should refer over to you.
Yeah, no. So we definitely serve all facets of life, right? I mean, being it's a franchise, we serve people that are looking for, to get a fast refund. How fast can
Yeah.
you get me the refund? But we also serve clients that have complex returns. They have investments, they have retirements, they have properties, they have small businesses. So the ideal client for us is that client that is really interested in knowing how can they save, you know, in taxes. Can you help me to come up with a strategy so I don't have to pay too much? Or clients that they are more investing, they're reinvesting their money back into the business, but they're not thinking about the future. So we can help them with tax-free retirement strategies. Once we found money, from their refund or we reduce their tax liability, what do you do with that money, right? So we're always looking for that, how to help the clients, but also there's another opportunity, lurking around the corner, and it's unfortunate, but the fact is that there's going to be a lot of IRS letters coming down the pipe pretty soon. And there's a lot of clients out there that need tax relief from a bad tax situation. So those are the clients that we look for. How do we help them to save money? What do you do with that money once it's, we found, that you're able to save it? And if you get a bad letter from the IRS, how do we get you out of that bad situation?
Hmm. I love the clarity on that. Um, so when you look at the clients you've had the opportunity to work with, why do they choose you as opposed to some of the other competitors out there? I know there's a number of tax preparers, bookkeepers, CPAs, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But you've been around a while. You've got a great business running. Why do your clients choose you? What makes you different than some of the competitors out there?
I think it goes back to, what you asked me before, what is it that I love to do? And I think it's um you might say that it might be old fashioned. I learned this from my dad. I remember sitting down on his meeting room, when he was having meetings with the salespeople, and I also remember, him going out to the bankers. It boils down to building relationships on a one-to-one with the person. So I think that, people do business with us because I have worked on building the infrastructure, the processes. So we were trying to enhance that customer experience. We talked about, providing excellence, customer service, but it boils down to having the staff that is knowledgeable, they're friendly, and we try to be prompt, responding to when they reach to us. um, like you said, I think I've been around for doing this for a while. So we have built those relationships where they trust, on us. They entrust their finances to us. So they believe that we're going to deliver, what we promise to do. So, and the final thing is that because we build those relationships at a personal level, I feel that some of the clients, we have a match between our values and our beliefs. So we're not going to compromise the quality for the quantity.
Mm, that's really good. Oh, fantastic. So yeah, this kind of takes me into marketing. I always love asking a few questions around marketing, and I'd love to kind of get your take or your philosophy on marketing. You mentioned, getting out there, building relationships, things like that. Obviously, that's a way to do marketing these days.
Mhm.
But maybe talk through a few things that you found that have worked for you, and maybe a few things that you've tried in the past that just didn't work for whatever reason, just didn't work for you, didn't work for your industry, didn't just wasn't the right thing. But give us a little bit of context on what your philosophy around marketing has been.
So, being the franchise, I think we have leveraged some of the things that they already do.
Mm.
The some of the joke behind is, the franchise that I have, it's a marketing company that happens to do taxes, right? So we have leveraged that. You might remember, you have seen the guy outside waving with the Liberty statue, costume outside. So it brings attention. I think that marketing, it stops the person, they might be thinking about something, but they see it outside and it reminds them that, oh, it's tax season, right? So we leverage that and we have seen success on that, but also at the same time, we're trying to get away from that notion that we are, you know, mm, we are, there's different perceptions about that, right? I mean, so we're trying to portray a more professional look. Um, but in terms of marketing, we always kind of fall back into direct marketing. We understand our demographics, we understand our client types, and so we always try to target those demographics and those clients. Uh, I'm coming back with a from a computer background that I have. I've always seen social media, the computers and technology like that. It helps to reach more customers faster and more often. So I'm a firm believer in social media as well. So those three things, someone outside, direct mail and social media has worked for us.
I love that. I love that we were able to have at least a little bit of conversation around what some may classify as maybe older school techniques in marketing these days. Like you mentioned, direct mail. I almost never get to talk about that these days because most people don't do it, which is kind of crazy, but I love it. I had a gentleman I was talking to a couple weeks ago, and he said he was doing flyers. Like, I haven't seen somebody do flyers in a long time.
Yeah,
That is fantastic. But it stands out because not everybody does it anymore. Where everybody sends emails and everybody's posting on social and all that kind of stuff. So,
right.
no, that's fantastic. I absolutely love that. Um, how about when you look back at kind of your journey in growing the business and some of the things that you've learned over the last number of years? Um, has there been any kind of roadblocks or hurdles that you've had to overcome along the business journey that has really helped you become the type of business person that you are today? You could even just frame it as like a aha moment or a big lesson learned in business that was necessary, but it's allowed you to become the business owner that you are today.
Yeah, I think the hurdle, was when I decided to leave, IBM and this computer company in the corporate world. I think I was determined. I have worked for, the big company, right? I had reached, that level of management within the company, but at the same time, I think I saw, where my future was, and the decision of, writing my own destiny was the determining factor, to pursue opening my own business. Um, so I look back of my strengths. I look back what I enjoyed the most, and it brought me back to my, being at home, looking at my dad, looking at my mom. And so that's how I started the business. But the hurdle once I started the business was, how do I convince these people that I'm capable of doing taxes, looking at businesses, helping them when my background and my degree is in computers. So I think it was, not having the fear, but to push through
Mm.
was the determining factor where I am today.
How did you do that? How did you just know to overcome that particular challenge and continue to push through? You know, tactically speaking, because there anything that just like went through your head that allowed you to be able to do that? But for someone that's facing that today, how would you help them learn the lessons that you've learned?
Without getting into politics or religion, but honestly, when I decided to start this business, I was laying down in bed. It was a Sunday afternoon, and I even get goosebumps every time I tell the story. But it boils down to my faith, one, and two is the confidence of what I have learned, where I have reached, and being able to, back then, it's like it was more like, okay, I think I'm capable of doing these things. I know who I am. I can do it. But I think it's a combination of faith and, knowing who I am.
I love that. I think that's a really good advice for anyone out there that may be feeling something similar at any point in their life, whether it's literally taking that leap or something else that's coming up. I love that. But Mara, as you look at say the next 3 to 5 years, where do you see the business going? Where do you see the business going, and how do you see your role changing within the business as it grows?
Well, it's interesting, right? Because back in August of 2022, Congress signed into law the Inflation Reduction Act, and that just opened up a can of worms, for lack of a better word, right? I mean, allocating $80 billion to the IRS, for the next 10 years. So we definitely see that we're positioning our business to, help the taxpayers navigate the new IRS. We see that the IRS is going to go full force, on what we call enforcement and also compliance. So the services that we provide, and we're lining ourselves right now, building that foundation, I see that our business is going to grow exponentially, so we're excited. I mean, who gets excited about numbers and, talking to the IRS? I do.
Well, hey, I don't know that I can say that I would get excited about talking to the IRS, but the numbers thing, I get that one. I'm up there
There
for
you
that
go.
one.
There you go.
Oh, that's fantastic. Well, I know we've covered a tremendous amount of ground. I want to be respectful of kind of the time that we have here today. So I've got a few rapid fire questions, just kind of pull some
Yep.
interesting wisdom nuggets out for the audience, that sort of thing. But as we go through these here, when you look at your journey from I don't know, childhood to early career to building into the business, what would you say for you has been kind of your key to success?
I think it's the respect for the individual. If somebody comes to you, and they are entrusting, their finances to you, they have an expectation. And so I think the success, my definition of success is to have a satisfied customer, knowing that we deliver what we promised.
I like that. How about advice? If you could give just one piece of advice that you would leave with the audience here today, other business owners, other entrepreneurs, what piece of advice would you want to give them?
Over the years, I've seen, people, in their struggles. But I will say that, especially for business owners, you know, um, if they have a profit, I think it's a good thing to reinvest it back into the company. But at the same time, they should think about their future. They should
Mm,
think about retirement. They should set aside, some money, pay themselves, so they have a cushion for their retirement. So I think they need to invest in themselves.
mm, that is a really solid piece of advice. Um, Book recommendations. Any book recommendations or podcast or other content that you just consume, on a regular basis that you would recommend to the audience? And no, it does not have to be business related if you don't want it to be.
Oh, no business related. Oh, I was gonna say, besides your podcast, no, I'm reading. I don't read. I don't read, especially during tax season. I don't read that much, but I do have Audibles, and I also have this other app that just gives me the synopsis of all the books. So I'm rereading the Seven Habits of Highly Effective People right
Mm,
now.
I like that one.
Yeah,
There we go. Make sure I get that written down so I can share it with everybody. That one's sitting on my shelf back there somewhere.
there you go.
Um, and ironically, that one does not come up super frequently in the recommendation. So I love that. I could add it back onto the list.
All right.
Um, all right, I'll ask you the magic question because this one's always just kind of fun to think about. If you could take a little bit of magic dust and you could sprinkle it all over one area in your business, and you only get to choose one, and you wake
Okay.
up tomorrow, it's like 10 times better than it is today. Where would you choose to put that magic dust?
You know, knowing you guys, knowing your dad, talking to you, and all the things that I've learned from you guys, I comes back to one or two, 1.1 things. It's working on your business, right? That's the
Mm,
first thing. And the next one is, uh, I've over all these years, I think I run this business without really a good direction. And uh, looking at your goals on a daily basis makes a difference. I might know what I want, but if it's not in black and white, and especially if grind it down to the daily, it makes a big difference.
love that so much. So much. I love that. Um, Well, Mauro, for those that are watching this and want to learn more, want to connect with you, where can we advise them to go for more information? Where can they go to connect with you, or where you located? Give us kind of the spiel of where to go next for more information and to connect with you.
All right. Well, I'm in a small town called Georgetown, Texas. They can reach the office. I mean, that's the easiest way, to set up an appointment with me. The number is 512-863-7767. We have a website. It's kind of dedicated to the tax resolution. The website is www.bizwise-solutions.com, bizwise-solutions.com, or they can send an email at info@bizwise-solutions.com.
Beautiful. I will be sure to put all of that in the video description below. So once we are wrapped up here, those of you that are watching, highly encourage you to go click the buttons, check it all out. Make sure that you make some connections here. Like very least, just send an email tomorrow and say, "Hey, saw you on the Business Spotlight. Great conversation," and just start it from there. Do that, please. So with that, I have one final question I always like to end these conversations on, and that
Right.
is simply, what is most inspiring to you today?
I think it's w- we've been working on building this foundation. We have tried a few things. We sold some areas of the business that was not producing the outcomes that we had anticipated. But I think we have a solid foundation right now. The services that we're providing is going to give us an opportunity to achieve those goals and the potentials that we have to reach them. So we're excited about the next 5-10 years at least, and if not more. So this is I'm inspired by what is ahead for us.
Amazing. Mauro, I want to say thank you again for taking the time. It's been a genuine pleasure being able to have this chat and kind of just dive a little bit deeper into business and share a little bit more about your story. So thank you so much.
Well, thank you, Tanner. Appreciate it.